Refugees are a contentious issue today. They're coming in big numbers. They will continue to come. They have no other alternative. And they are here to stay. They're going anywhere. They're not going anywhere. If we want to change their future, we need to do something. They have a bleak past, and they have a terrible future. And if we don't change their future, our future is not going to be bright either. If we don't give them the tools, the means, to make their future a better one, it is going to be a catastrophic waste of talent and productivity. Desperate people without hope do desperate things. We can't change their past, but we can and should change their future. Not only for their sake, for our sake as well. So my question today, how do we transform their future? Right now, we all care about the essentials, the survival, food, water, shelter, healthcare, maybe primary education. All these are extremely important. But should they be our top priority for the future? Yes, survival is paramount. But in the long run, it's not enough. We should change. The mode should be, instead of surviving, thriving. So I'm asking, what do we need to give the refugees, equip them with, to enable them to change their fate? Asking it in other words, what should be our highest priority? And my answer is higher education. Because people with higher education are more productive, are better contributing to their countries, and these are people who integrate better. So let me give you an example of a person. She was a refugee. She was a child refugee fleeing Lithuania. She came to the US, and being in the US as a young refugee, her chances for higher education were slim. She didn't have a chance to get higher education, but she did. And she was successful in getting higher education, and she continued on to launch groundbreaking research in the treatment of leukemia and malaria, for which she won the Nobel Prize in medicine in 1988. After her death, Miss Lyon research was used to treat AIDS. So giving her the opportunity for higher education benefit her, but not only her, but the entire society. And let me give you another example. Mario Capecci. Mario Capecci, an Italian kid, was separated from his mother in World War II. For years, he stayed alone, starving, until he was reunited with his mother to flee to the US. Again, he came to New York. The chances for refugees to attend higher education was slim, but he made it. He was lucky. He's one of the few that were lucky. He used his education to continue his studies, and later on, he pioneered a groundbreaking research in gene sequencing, for which he also won the Nobel Prize in 2007. These are two examples of people who, through their education, benefit themselves and benefited the entire society. You know, these refugees are not today refugees. Moreover, and of course, I'm not saying that any refugee who will get the opportunity for higher education will end up with Nobel Prize. But I am saying that if we give them the chance for higher education and wait enough years to bear the fruits, it will be a great benefit for them as well as for us, the society. Because nothing like education can improve life and can improve the standard of any society. Educated people are more productive, they increase the median wage, education increases the lifespan, reduce poverty and crime. In the OECD, 50% of the growth of the economy is related to the growth, to the increase of number of people with higher education. In the US, bachelor degree alone is likely to increase someone earning in his life by close to $1 million. So the return on investment of education, the ROI on education, is incredibly high. And as such, it should be clear, everyone should invest in education, and definitely higher education. But you know, it's not necessarily happening. And it's not happening because a lot of people feel that education is a luxury. And you know, luxury? Refugees don't deserve to get luxury when local people need assistance. As such, government don't put education, and definitely higher education, top on their priority. And even if they do, they're unlikely to have money for that because education is very expensive. Only minuscule is being invested in education. And actually, only minuscule is invested in refugees in general. And actually only 1.5% of this amount is being invested in education, and even fraction of it on higher education. And again, the reason for that, the reasons of investing so little in education is because people feel that education is a luxury, and people don't deserve to get this luxury. But as I said, even governments that do think that education is important end up not investing in education. And the reason for that is because education, and especially higher education, is expensive. A year of college in the US costs, on the average, $30,000. Even here, where education is supposedly free, the government subsidizes every student every year by $14,000. So governments have tough choices. Budget is limited, and they have to choose. Should they invest in the citizens or in refugees? Should they invest in short-term or long-term? And remember, education is a long-term, and definitely higher education. You will see the fruits only in many years. So after giving all the needs, all the immediate necessities, hardly is being left for higher education. As a result, higher education is a wishful thinking for most of the refugees. It's not accessible, and it's not affordable. And it's all over the world. And even if there are seats for refugees, there is no money for them. As a result, higher education become an accidental achievement rather than a concrete plan to recognize and train their potential. The result is obviously that less than 10% of the refugees worldwide will end up with higher education. And again, even in countries that recognize the importance of higher education. So here I am asking, is it inevitable? If we all recognize that higher education is the way to help the refugees and to help us as a society, isn't there a way to enable them to study? Isn't there a way to give them the opportunity for higher education? And my answer is, yes, there is a way. And the way is online learning. Because in online learning, there is room for everyone. There is no shortage of seats. Nobody needs to stand in the back of the lecture hall. In online learning, you accommodate any demand. Moreover, the cost is fraction of the cost of traditional brick-and-mortar education. No buildings, no dormitories, no printed material. The costs are very low. And there is, these days, the opportunity for those who previously had no opportunity. There is the opportunity of online to study and to get decent education. And, you know, it's not kind of a new revelation that nobody have thought about. Look at the best universities of the world. Harvard, Yale, Stanford, MIT, Oxford, all of them offer online courses. Most universities offer online courses. Many of them offer full degrees. Millions of students around the world take online courses. Many of them study full degrees. It's efficient, it's academically sound, and it fits very well the lifestyle of the young generation. Well, I'm not saying that studying online is easy. Actually, it requires quite a lot of sacrifices. It required self-discipline and very high motivation. But hey, think about refugees. The people who suffered so much, the people who were willing to risk their life in order to have a better chance for the future, these are the very people who will grab any opportunity, and definitely this opportunity, to have a chance for a better life. My colleagues and I are working to make this vision a reality, creating a university that will be tuition-free, accredited online by using open source technology, open educational resources, and volunteers, a university that will be accessible and affordable, a university that will open the gates to higher education for every qualified student, and especially refugees, a university that is called University of the People. We only offer business administration and computer science, and we just announced that we are also offering MBA, because these degrees are most in demand worldwide. They are most likely to help our students find a job, help themselves, help their families, help their communities, help their countries, the countries that they live in, and even better, their home country if they ever go back. We do it online through partnership with great universities such as Berkeley, NYU, and Yale, and we do it with volunteers, 4,000 volunteers who are coming from great universities to help our students from 180 countries. Recently, we just announced, with the help of Foundation Hoffman, a scholarship program for 500 refugees where they can study fully free with the scholarship online for accredited American degree. The 50 best of them, after a year with us, can transfer to the top universities of the world. Thank you. There are millions of refugees around the world who are qualified and deserve higher education. There is no way to fit them in the existing system. But we must do our best to make them an asset rather than a burden. We can't change their past and what they've gone through, but we can and should transfer their future. We should turn their bleak past into a great future for all of us. Thank you.